everybody doing? We're giving a quick update, midday live. So basically, we have a situation where we have one of the individuals who were Rakan, as y'all have heard me speak about him the other day. He's actually taking a stand. He's on the stand right now. I'm not sure if there's going to be another person speaking with him. He gets on the stand. He points out he points out both of the co-defendants, and I'm going to break this down a little bit later. I'm going to make sure that we do a live right after the show, right after the court case. I am going to do a live right after the court case. So basically, he takes the stand and he is giving a rendition of the situation that happened. A lot is going on. I'm not going to go step by step what he said right now, but I will tell you some of the juggling that's been going on in court. So apparently, a big consensus is that previously he said that he didn't know who did it. So the defendant's lawyers are jumping all over that. How do you know who did it now? You didn't know who did it previously. Why are you so ready to talk about it now? Why weren't you ready to talk about it previously? It's become such a point of contention that currently one of the things that's happening, just so we can be clear. That dude didn't start talking until we went live, and they do that every time. They just see somebody recording and they gotta just do that. I don't understand, don't get this shit. In any regard, so for everybody can know what's going on. So they have the individual Rakan. He was also shot. He's taking a stand. He's pointing out both of the defendants. One of the defendants, Jordan, he is saying is the shooter. He said basically that Jordan walked up to, they were sitting down playing video games. Jordan came in allegedly, and then Jordan allegedly went over to like give him dap. And then when Jordan went over to give him dap, allegedly that's when the situation happened. Well, that's when the shooting started. That's what Rakan has gotten on the stand and said. But we can go over that all day. I want to just say, so the point of contention that the defense is trying to put up is, if this is something that, why didn't he come forward with it previously? They're saying numerous different times he's been asked about did he see who the assailants were, and he has consistently said that he did not see them. I think, matter of fact, there's even a point where he said that he just didn't know who they were. So right now, that's what's going on. That's what the issue seems to be. They just going back and forth. As always, the defense is trying to discredit the witness. And I believe the defense's biggest point is, why didn't he come forward in 2002 when he was asked by detectives? But I found something that's very interesting. And I don't know if I want to go into this right now, because I want to say something. Remember that shit that we was talking about this morning? Anybody was in the live this morning? And when we was in the live, I'm putting this hood on, this coat out here. When we was in the live this morning, one of the things that I spoke about something that had happened in court. Do you know that was the first point of business today when they... I don't know how to accept that. I'm just being honest with you. I do not know how to accept it. What we were talking about this morning in this morning's live, go check out the live from this morning. What we were talking about this morning, it was the first point of business when I entered court. Before they even brought in the jury, they were busy talking about this particular, they were talking about what we were talking about this morning, and they was working through the logistics of that in court. I found that to be pretty interesting. Like, so we've been here 2 days. What's the second day? I guess everybody's been here 2 days. Third day, I guess. No. And just so we could be clear, it seems like I'm hitting all of the points as usual. Everything that we're talking about over here on this platform, it seems to be relevant in the actual case. Once again, we're consistent. We're extremely consistent with that. So basically, as far as we can tell, They have the defendant on the stand. The defense is basically, pardon me, we have a witness on the stand. The defense is basically trying to say that he was pressured into saying some of the things that he's saying. They're saying that that he's lying, basically. Obviously, that's what they have to say. And so they're trying to show and bring up, what's up, how y'all doing today?
All right, man.
All right. They're trying to show and bring up different ways that he was, not telling the truth, how he's been lying or whatever the case is, because that's what the defense is obviously saying he's doing. The defense is obviously saying he's lying. Obviously, the prosecution is saying something different. So that's basically what's going on in court today, and that's going to be what they're about to get back to when they come back from break. That's going to be one of the main points that they're going to talk about, because now they just always do this. Those guys were all the way across the street, and they decided to come all the way over here and have a conversation. Just so Damn, I do not get this shit. I'm pretty sure everybody that records outside goes through the same thing. We all do, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why people do this shit. In any regard, I whip out the book, right? So let's just talk about some points real quick. Let me get up out of here. So just so we could be clear, the man who was shot, the other individual who was shot, he's on the stand. I believe he was just on the stand. I believe they're about to have him back out on the stand again. The other individual, or they just came over here to look and see how many people was watching, I think. The other individual that was shot, just so we could be clear, he's on the stand. While he's been on the stand, he pointed at the individuals who he said, what up to the few. He pointed at the individual that he is saying is behind the situation. He said, plain point blank, that Washington was the lookout, and plain point blank, that Jordan was the shooter. This is what he said in the courtroom, just so we can be clear. There was a lot of arguments today. I can't really break it down for y'all right now because, we're in a rush. But there were a lot of arguments that was made today that has some relevancy also, just so we can be clear, as much relevancy. And I didn't get the chance to talk to y'all about the hip-hop cop. That's the guy from, he hasn't taken the stand, but they spoke about him yesterday. I expect that he's going to take the stand at one point or another. So, this is day 3. So the day started off, and the prosecution said that they had a concern about, So the day started off, and the prosecution said that they had a concern about I don't know, they tried to send some people over here to harass me today. I'm going right to get the police guy standing right there. Them niggas got to deal with that nigga. Well, you know how they always have people come back. So they got somebody trying to fuck with me now. They got a homeless guy out here trying to fuck with me now. So, nah, nigga, that police guy is right there. You're going to deal with him. Anyway, so prosecution said that they have a concern with the witnesses' unreliable testimony. They said the event happened in 2002, and they're saying that they don't believe that many of the witnesses is going to be able to give a good testimony because it happened so long ago. This is what the prosecution is saying. They said what is not a memory, and basically what they're saying is that they think that this happened so long ago that there's people that got together and they just talked about this event so much that now, they're not talking about what actually happened anymore. They're just like making shit up in their brain and just agreeing with shit and stuff like that. So they're saying that that's a possibility that happened. Also, just so everybody knows, they'll tell you that witness ID is not 100%. Like a witness ID is not 100%. Like witnesses get shit wrong all the time, just so we can be clear. So that might be what they're already also aligning and getting ready for. The argument was based on another case. That's how they decided it. A Flores case, something about 801D 1C. What up, Fox? Salute. Yo, so anybody buying me lunch today? I could use lunch today, fam. For real, for real. So not objecting to not objecting to Rickon making an inconsistent statement, but will object if any other witnesses says his inconsistent statement. So basically, you heard the thing that I just spoke with y'all about when I said that sometimes witnesses get together and they talk, and what happens is everybody, now they're not saying what they remember, they're saying what they discussed, basically. So Washington's attorney got up there and said that they're not objecting to Rickon's making any statement, whether it's inconsistent or consistent, whatever. They're not objecting to any of his statements. They're ready to question him over that. What they are objecting to, if anybody else gets on the stand and tries to say any of his inconsistent statements, that is what they are going to object to. They had the whole talk about this before the thing started. The judge said that the witnesses are speaking of can only give identification. They can't give anything else. They only could say give identifications. They're not allowing them to do any of the extra stuff, is what the judge says. So Washington's attorneys then go on to say they don't like that the witness Lockwood was able to say that the witnesses were scared, and that the judge said that he can't talk about the witness intimidation. That's literally, we said that, fam. We said that. Remember when I told you they dropped the ball? Remember when I told you that? I said, yo, look, I don't even know how. Remember I told y'all that. That's what they talked about this morning, fam. I told y'all that yesterday. I told y'all that already. I told you that yes, I keep trying. Fam, I told, anyway, so that's what the argument was today. They just don't want the government talking about witness intimidation also. They don't want the government to be able to make it seem, because remember, when somebody is on trial, one of the main things that the judge doesn't, that the government isn't going to allow is for you to, how do you say, you can't give bias. I forgot the damn statement. Anyway, let me finish what I'm saying. Point being is, if they allow for them to say that these individuals was intimidated, what you're doing is you're classifying the accused as already being guilty of any type of crime. You can't do that unless the crime that they're being accused of being guilty is associated to the crime that they're currently on trial for. You can't just bring up random crimes that a person has committed when they're on trial for a separate offense. You understand what I'm saying? So that's basically what is they don't want to happen. They're saying, look, my defendants, we're on trial for this particular situation. We don't want y'all bringing up that these guys is doing this out in the world or doing that out in the world, because that has no relevancy to this case right here in any regard. The government goes on to say witnesses can talk about themselves being intimidated, though. That's law. If you are being intimidated, you can talk about that, even though somebody else might not be able to. Washington lawyers are the ones that brought it up. Oh, and this is another thing. This is the wild part. You know the thing that I said that they shouldn't have done yesterday? Apparently, the damn objection would have been against their own people. Their own people. And I didn't even realize this. That is what happened. The judge had to point the shit out in court. The thing that they're complaining about, their own people brought up. Yo, look, fam. We are not biased over here. We are unbiased. We do our job. I'm not just some regular old guy. I do know a little bit about the law. Literally the shit that we've been talking. This is not just so we can be clear, this isn't the first case that this has happened. Where we've talked about something on our platform, and after we talked about it on our platform, it became actionable in court. This is not the first time that this has happened for anybody that's new here. Okay? This is not the first time that this has happened. So, like I told y'all, as when we was talking yesterday, I told y'all that they let that prosecutor, all right? When I told y'all that they let that dude say way too much, and I was busy over here like I don't even understand why they did that. And then they came back from court and tried to fix the situation. They came back from lunch, tried to fix the situation. They couldn't. And then after they came back from lunch and tried to fix the situation and they was unable to fix the situation, now they're still trying to deal with the situation today in court. Just so we could be clear. They made a big mistake yesterday. They made a bigger mistake before all of this even happened because they should have been handled this. They've been making mistakes left and right, in my opinion. And I think a lot of this is just pre-trial stuff, just so we could be clear. A lot of this is just pre-trial stuff. But what the fuck do I know? I could be wrong. Remember, they're the lawyers. I'm not. I am not a lawyer. Okay? I know that I get a lot of this shit right. I get it. But I am not a lawyer, so maybe they just know shit that I don't know. That's all I could assume at this point. Because it looks like a shit show, fam. Jordan's team seems to be a little bit more concise and together. They have, I don't know who the person is that's speaking right now. I thought he was on Jordan's team, but now I think he's on Washington's team. And I think that he just actually did some good work for his client, to be honest with you. I think it was a hard way for him to get there. But basically what they're trying to do is show that the Rincon guy is not necessarily being honest. And he's had multiple different opportunities to be able to come forward and say who the alleged killers was that he's pointing the fingers at now, and he had not previously. So at first I thought they was doing it a little heavy-handed, but I think at the end of, before we went to this lunch, I think they was able to come to, I think they was able to make their point. I don't know if this is something I could sway a jury. Let's not get this confused. But I do think, you know, if they have any follow-up points later on, that they at least set up to have some follow-up points later on. That's my opinion. They at least have set up some places where they can have follow-up points. But it's going to be later on. I don't think it's going to do them any good in this moment because they just look like they're badgering a dude that got shot.
I started hip-hop.
That's what it looks like.
I started scratching.
I told you. So that's what it, I told you, they just come around me and start yelling and screaming. I have no idea why they do that. So that's basically what it is. That's basically what's going on right now. So I'm about to get back in the courtroom. What time we got? I'm about to get back in the courtroom, I guess. Hey. Good morning. They just got some fine lawyers. The funny thing is, that's the same lawyer I looked at yesterday, and I said the same thing. It's got some fine lawyers in here, fam. It's just, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so we're gonna get a little bit more information. I'm gonna try to give y'all tonight's show tonight. I'm kind of conflicted. I'm conflicted. All right, so I know for a fact, I really feel very deeply that these lawyers are watching my page. I don't want to help either side, you know? This is about the third, look, he's just yelling louder now. This is just, don't even make sense. I'm inside the building, now he's yelling loud. I don't understand why they do this. Anyway, I am not on trying to help nobody get off. I'm not trying to help nobody convict nobody. I'm not trying to do any of that. But my takes on these cases be really, really good. Like really good. And I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I be so on point. Like so on point. So I don't know. I don't know. I might have to switch up the way that we do this. I might just have to switch up the way we're doing this. Fam, these guys can't be coming to court every single day, and at least since I've been here, and arguing my arguments in court, fam. I'm feeling away. I'm just being honest with you. I love it, but at the same time, I don't want to be a part of this situation. I don't want to be a part of anybody getting convicted or anybody being exonerated. I just want it to happen organically. Then there's the part of me that looks at it as everybody deserves to have good counsel, right? So I don't know. Oh, also, I met a person that said that they grew up with Jay. They was like Jay's friend growing up with him. I do not know how true this is. Just some random guy who was in the courtroom. Said he grew up with Jay. He knows Jay. He's 100%. I can look at him and tell he's from that age group. He's in that age group. This is obviously something that none of us wanted to happen. Wish could have happened different. Jam Master Jay was a very loved hip hop guy. So this is definitely not anything that we will want. Very, very, very loved hip hop guy, you know? Let's see. I'm about to let y'all go, but I can hit y'all with something small. I'll give y'all the whole background of the Rick Khan guy tonight. So they brought out a lot of exhibits that were just pictures of people, right? A Mike B guy, somebody named Inkpen, Lydia Hyde. They had pictures of Randy Allen, Jam Master Jay. There was the pictures of a couple of more people. Somebody named Bo. So I'm assuming that at some point or another, these people, or at least some of these people, are going to be called to testify. And I'm assuming at some point or another, every single which one of these people is mixed into this situation. So we're going to be hearing about what happened. It's not happening, just so we could be clear, it's not, the court case isn't going with the same fluidity of some of the other previous cases that we have covered. And I'm not saying that it's not, the court is working the right way. It's just that they're taking a little bit more time on each one of these particular witnesses, with the exception of, you know, one or two witnesses in the Taxstone trial, maybe one witness, Troy Ave, and maybe one or two witnesses, you know, Tekashi, and maybe another witness in the Treyway trial. Most of these witnesses go up there 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then they're done. You know, here we're having witnesses that's up on the stand for a much longer period of time, as they should be. You know, stay up there until, you know, the entire testimony which is needed for both sides is given, as they should be. So I'm just saying it's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's not better, not worse. It's just different. So there's stuff that I would love to talk about right now, but I can't, because I don't have the second half of it. So for just clarity, there's things that I would love to talk about, but I don't have the second half of it. So if I tried to talk to you about it, I don't have the second half. I don't know what to tell you. It just ain't here. And anyway, I will give you a real quick synopsis of what he said happened, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna give a real quick synopsis of what he said happened. What he said was the front door opens and he saw Jordan walk over to Jay, and then he gave a potential handshake, and then he heard shots. So basically, the door opened up, Jordan came in, he walked to where Jay was, He got to where Jay was. Jay was sitting down. I believe he said Jay stood up in order to give him dap. When Jay went to give him dap, that's when he shot him, allegedly. That's when he allegedly shot him. Also allegedly there, also allegedly gave dap. Allegedly everything, right? His phone rang. His mother was, and when this happened, he actually was picking up his phone because his phone was ringing right while this was happening, and his mother was calling him right while this was happening, calling Rakan, not Jay. So basically, he stands up. Jay sees dude come in, that's his people. He stands up, he gets up, he walks over to give him the dap, and then he hears Jay saying, "Oh shit!" And then that's when dude gets shot. He pointed out the defendant Jordan specifically. He said, "Who shot him?" He pointed right at Jordan. He said, "Him." Now, this is something that I'm going to say, and this is something, shout out to Trife Gangsta. So during the Taxstone trial, me and Trife Gangsta was having a whole conversation. And the conversation that me and Trife Gangsta was actually having was Trife Gangsta said, "When was the last time you seen somebody get up on the stand and point at the person who did the shooting? And then who shot them specifically, and then that person beat the case?" He said, "That don't happen." He's kind of right. So if we go on what Trife Gangsta says, which there's no reason not to believe what Trife Gangsta says, if we go off of what Trife Gangsta says, that the jury usually, if you get up on that stand and say that guy shot, it was him, the jury usually takes that as me and Trife Gangsta had this conversation, man. Shout out to Trife Gangsta. They also pointed out that the defendant Washington, and he said that Washington basically was the lookout. And then he said at the time that Rakan knew Jordan, Jay's grandson. Oh, by the way, the dude is Jam Master Jay's godson. I'm going to say that again. Jordan, the guy who is accused of doing the shooting, he's Jam Master Jay's godson. His godson, fam. His name, they call him Little D. There's a Big D. At the time, he said, "You're the cover his face," and then there's a big long conversation, and I'm going to talk to y'all about y'all later about how he might or might not have known who the shooter was and all of the hoopla around that. We're going to talk about that later, but I'm going to let y'all go right now. Everybody have a blessed day. We'll be back later. Salute.